Hi, this is Natalie Lander, voice of Kinsey, Tara Branford, Stargirl, and many others. You are listening to a W2Mnet podcast. You can visit W2Mnet.com for other podcasts about entertainment, video games, sports, and wrestling. You are listening to Video Games to the Max.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Video Games to the Max, number 268. And first of all, I want to say I'm very sorry that the last episode where we talked about a lot of good stuff, had some good conversations, probably wasn't listened by a lot of you, or you had to grin and bear it with some terrible crackling noises every time I spoke. Something is going on with the speaker studio, and we can't figure out what it is. Both Marc and I tried to try recording, and I don't know. Something happened with it now. So we're trying to just use Skype recording and see how this sounds.
See what disastrous mess this can lead us into.
Yeah, let's hope that this sound. Well, I mean, it should sound way better than what you had to do with last week. But let's hope that we don't have anything catastrophic happen, since this is a long recording it has to do. So we'll see how it goes with this. But hopefully, you guys are still around, still enjoying the show. And of course, we are the official video games podcast at W2Mnet.com and in partnership with Last Word on Gaming. And well, this is going to be a big, heavy Sony show, as Sony decided. Well, not Sony. Jason Schreier did one of his big reports for Bloomberg, and on it, he had plenty to say on there. So we'll get into that entire thing with the Sony studios and what's going on with them. And yeah, but Marc, you got that first dose of the COVID vaccine. How are you feeling?
I'm fine.
You haven't had any side effects or anything?
My arm hurt like the next day after, but that's just because she injected me like badly. But that was about it.
Okay, well that's positive. And you're telling me you didn't get it in Michigan. You had to go to Ohio?
Yeah, I had to drive. I mean, I'm like a half hour outside Toledo, or like 40 minutes of Toledo, Ohio, so I had to drive down there.
Yeah, here in Miami, you kind of just have to be watching it constantly. Like you have to have somebody that doesn't work or have a life to be paying attention to when they have openings. I think. Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I know Jens had to take a bus to get his, like an hour or hour and a half away.
Yeah, I think they had just announced like a federal one, not that far from us at the city hall. So hopefully that one is one of those where it's just drive up and you get it, and not have to go through this whole extraneous process of, is CVS doing appointments? Is Publix doing appointments? Is somebody else doing appointments? Like, God, what a chore. Right now, I mean, at least it's not as bad as trying to get a PS5 or an Xbox Series X or whatever, but still kind of a crazy thing that you have to go through to get vaccinated. And I know there's people that are not going to want to, but if you, I guess, want to have some kind of semblance of normal, even though we still have to do the whole masking thing and everything else for a while. So, yeah. I have not really been playing anything. This was our first week where we had to go back to the office. And then this week I have to go fully back. Like, I still had Sunday where I got to work from home, but now I have all 5 days are back in the office, which freaking sucks. And there seems to be no I see people that should be back in the office that are not, and then some people that like they had always been cleared, and it's just like I don't get this whole like deal. Like why did you remove the whole people still had like 2 days off and 2 days and 3 days on if you're not going to be strict about everybody needs to come in thing.
Yeah, it's just business probably or some dumb reason.
I know, but it sucks because like I'm the person that lives farthest away, which it impacts me the most. And it'd be nice to like if you're gonna get people options, then hey, can I have an option too? Like, so that getting all that stuff out of the way that there's people that probably don't care about, but I will say, getting adjusted again to having my sister has her golden doodle here for the week. And then, we have our little pit bull bulldog puppy, and at least she has started to sleep more. So I at first, when she first was there, she was getting me up at 6 a.m. to go to the bathroom. Now she's lasting until about 8:30, which is not bad at all.
Yeah.
And then the nice thing is like it's just kind of like a baby. It gives me memories of Anaya when she was a baby. Take her to the bathroom. She eats a little bit, drinks water, and then goes right back to sleep again. I'm just like, you got me up for that? Come on, I could have just kept sleepy.
Yeah.
So, and oh my God, her and the cat is something else. They are fighting, like the whole fighting like cats and dogs. They definitely do that.
Yeah.
She's got marks on her face, and he has a nasty bite around his ear because she likes to catch him by surprise, and it's not. And that's one of those dogs that she's a puppy. Obviously, she's still learning, but she's rough. She thinks that playing around is biting your hand off. So, and I'm used to having more docile dogs, so that took a little bit getting used to. You have to kind of be rough with them too. So
a pit bull puppy being rough, who'd have thought, huh?
Yeah, I just never had one of those, so it's something to get used to. But it's so much fun to have her around, and just she's so loving. Even though she has her weird way of loving you, but she's really loving. So I appreciate that. But let's get into the games, which, like I said, I don't have a lot to talk about, but you do. So what have you been
I
playing?
got back into Assassin's Creed Valhalla, just because it's something that's like very basic that like requires no thought whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean, you've already beaten that game.
Yeah,
you know what to do in.
And I'm so like overpowered that like I'm just like walking into enemy bases and just want everyone to attack me just to get it over quicker.
Yeah.
I'm playing a little more Breath Edge. I like that game kind of, but like the sense of humor sucks, and the like bad voice acting is bad.
So why is it so bad?
It's just constant, like this stupid like phone sex Russian like
What?
AI bot or whatever keeps like saying like, "Oh, call me," and I'm like, "That's not the point of this game." Like,
What? Wait. The Russian phone sex bot? What?
well, it's like some like automated message from like some. It sounds like Russian, I think, but like some like
Okay.
Russian phone sex operator goes, "Oh, call me," and I'm like, I'm like the point of this game is I'm supposed to be stranded out in the middle of space. Like this kind of breaks the illusion, or it kind of makes the game not fun. Like I don't remember having crap like that in Subnautica.
Yeah, not great. Yes.
And the game also does like a kind of poor job about telling you like what to do, or like
Yeah.
I guess that's kind of the point of these like survival games. But like I was at this point where it's like, oh, you have to go through this like this tunnel of ice, and like the first time I
Yeah.
did it, I got basically froze, and I like narrowly escaped. And I looked up a guide, and it was like, oh, you're supposed to use like these like lamps that are like strategically placed to like get through the tunnel, and I'm like, I didn't even know there was like a like those were like useful. I thought they were just like decoration.
Well, I mean,
Yeah, I guess I learned something, but like the game doesn't tell you that. Like if I didn't find this guy's video, it's like I wouldn't have figured it out. And there is some like AI tutorial or like AI stuff, like a little. So it would have been nice if like the guide would have said, "Hey, lamps are heat sources. They can prevent freezing." But the big cool thing is I bought a stupid expensive GameCube game over the weekend, or I should say Monday, and that's rad.
Hello?
I'm here.
Hello?
I'm here.
Yeah. Yeah, I know it like cuts you off.
Oh. No, I bought a big expensive GameCube game over the weekend, so that's cool.
Yeah, I saw that picture at Fire Emblem Path of Radiance.
Yep.
Are you actually going to play it?
Nope. It is going to sit in my shelf next to Suikoden 2 and other expensive games I have. I mean, that's a game that's easily playable on like Dolphin or the Wii. I mean,
sure.
Like I got it as a head symbol, pretty much. Or I mean, I got it because it was a complete copy, and I've been looking for that for a long ass while. And yeah, the price on it was $300, and I ultimately paid about 42 or 45 because I traded some stuff in, which isn't a bad deal.
Yeah, it's definitely not bad at all. That's actually pretty cool.
That game's like I mean, honestly, that game's like too valuable to play.
What makes you it's too valuable to play? So like if you take it out of the
Well, I mean, it's already used, but I mean, like, it is. I actually looked it up. It is the second most. If you're talking just games, like not like really obscure shit, it is the second most expensive GameCube game released.
Wow.
The only one more is Cubivore, which I'm sure everyone has.
Cubivore? What the?
I think it's a platformer. I've seen it before. Atlas put it out, so that's why it's rare as shit, and no one played it. But okay. Fire Emblem is like the one that people have heard of.
Right.
And this store also, I didn't get it, but they also had the Wii Fire Emblem for like $100. But I'm like, no, I'm good.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to get that, just
no, well, it's the Wii controller, so not really.
Oh, okay, well, fair enough.
Yeah. So, yep, like that game was definitely like on my bucket list of shit to buy. So, I just got 3 games left.
Well, at least you have narrowed the bucket list down.
Yeah, and that was like by far the most expensive one.
Well, anything else that you?
Not really. Yeah, just a lot of Valhalla for some dumbass reason.
Like, have you discovered anything new or?
Oh no! I mean, some quests. They put out some patches, and one of the quests I was stuck on finally fixed itself. So that's nice. Like I'm supposed to talk to this guy. I talked to like one guy, and he's like, "Oh, this bishop doesn't like our music. Go talk to him." And you're supposed to talk to him and then fight the bishop in like just a really cheesy battle, but like the bishop wouldn't activate before. Like I couldn't talk to him, so it's like, well, this quest is kind of busted for me. Like, but it finally started working, so I'm like, all right, cool.
All right.
Yeah. And I find that game extremely, like I said, just easy to like play because I don't have to pay attention at all, and nothing can kill me anyway. So,
I mean that is a nice thing. Like that's kind of like how it is with Bravely Default too. Like when you're grinding.
Yeah, it's a good power.
I gotten to the point where my characters are leveled up enough where I don't have to. I can just hit the attack button and just keep hitting the attack button, and I don't have to really point where they're going. It's just okay. Well, I'll know when because they've killed all the monsters because it'll start playing the music,
Right.
and then I can just see the points go up and move along. Just
Yeah.
so that's that it's good. It's good to have those games where you can just kind of like it's mindless and
Oh
but it's
yeah.
still fun.
Oh yeah.
Well, certainly does not fit into that category. This next game here, Last of Us, the first Last of Us, is going to be remade. But it didn't just start out that way. It didn't start out as Naughty Dog wants to do a remake of the first game, and we have that show coming out, so why not just go ahead and do full on remake for the PS5? That's not really how it started. According to Bloomberg and Jason Schreier, like I said, he put out a really great in-depth article that if you haven't hit the paywall yet, I guess, because I think it's like after like four articles on whatever device you're reading on, it
Yeah.
automatically tells you that you got to pay $2 or however much it is. I think it's $2 to unlock stuff for like I don't know if that's for just one day or for a while, but either way, there is a paywall at Bloomberg. But if you haven't hit that and you haven't read it yet, you definitely should. I'll have it in the description there. Jason Schreier noted that at some point, a group called Visual Arts Service Group was turned into a studio that Sony tried to keep secret, or well, they really kept it secret. Started by Michael Mumbauer, who he founded it in 2007, and he wanted it to like keep growing and become like a pillar studio, just like many of the other studios that are out there. I mean, they had he along with many others, and that studio itself, not them, but like the group of 30 developers that had been brought in had worked on like in support for Uncharted and Spider-Man. So these are people that have a lot of knowledge of these Sony games and definitely know what they're doing. They're veterans in
Yeah.
this field, and part of that is also due to this kind of started with Sony Bend. Of course, they're known for Days Gone, which Mark has mixed feelings on that game. If you
Yep.
remember him
of the
and
year.
Jens constantly talking about that when it was coming out. They wanted to actually get a sequel, Days Gone 2 in 2019. Sony wasn't a big fan of it after the development took so long. I mean, they had to delay the game, and there was
Yeah.
so many years we didn't even know. We knew it was coming, but like that, you heard nothing about it,
But
and critical reception as well.
yeah, but the thing
Yeah.
is, like, I thought that game did well financially or
It
commercially.
did do well
Yeah.
financially.
Especially like once it
So
came to PC.
Well, it is one along with Horizon, one of the ones that's come to PC, and also the fact that they like have done some visual work to it to make it look really good on PC, which is
Yeah.
interesting. And then, the thing is too, it's you didn't let Sony Bend do a Days Gone 2, something they really wanted to do. So you put them on support for Last of Us 2 when that thing was getting, delayed and they needed help. And so that's why you saw some of these big parts of that. Two of the biggest parts of that studio left, and they kind of joined this visual arts service group. And then so basically, they were developing Last of Us as a remake for the PS5 to kind of show what they could do. As time went on, the head of Sony kind of started to question why is this starting to cost so much money? Why are you needing to hire people? This wasn't the idea. Of course, they have to take a PS3 game Yes, it did get remastered for the PS4, but they had to take a PS3 game and put it into PS5 technology, which obviously takes more manpower, and very much like what happened with Demon Souls. And they kind of started bringing in Naughty Dog people, and then all of a sudden, it just became a thing where they just said, "All right, you know what? We're just gonna give it to Naughty Dog." And so here we are once again, where Naughty Dog is leading development on a game that they already made, they already remastered, and now they're remaking it for the PS5. Which that game came out in 2013. By the time this game comes out, it'll be 10 or 11 years old if it comes out in 2023, which will probably be the earliest we'll see it. Now, a lot of rumors going around right now. We don't really know anything about what they're going to actually remake, other than the fact that they're going to build it in the same gameplay style as Last of Us Part 2, which is the more like action-oriented style that we saw.
I know Randy loved that game, but I didn't like that much for like that art or that style shift. Like I liked it more as a stealth game.
Fair enough. I mean, that's what's being debated about is
Like
there are a lot of people that did like that style, and that's cool, but there's a lot of talk about, man, that game's not that old. Like, why are we remaking this? And it still holds up too, especially after the remaster.
Yeah, that's a few things. Like one of the reasons I didn't like The Last of Us 2 that much is it felt like there wasn't a ton of like puzzle solving compared to like the first game. That was kind of a drag, I thought. But also, like when I bought my PS4, I got a copy of Last of Us the first one for free.
Right, same thing here.
That was like the bundle. It's like, yeah, like some digital download code. And it's like, the fact that most of us got this in like 2015,
Well, and you have it now as part of the PS Plus collection.
Yeah.
If you have a PS5 at all.
I mean, I've seen a lot of I'm sure you have also like a lot of the memes about like, well, Dark Souls was a PS3 game and that got a remaster, but it's like, well,
Demon Souls.
Yeah, sorry, Demon Souls. Like, yeah. But it's like, well, Demon Souls, that was a pretty rough PS3 game, first of all. Second of all, that game didn't come to PS4. And third of all, they did a pretty big job of remaking that game for PS5.
Well, and it's also like that was given to Bluepoint to do, that was the point with this other studio is, okay, let's outsource this. Let's let this other studio do that, right? And let Naughty Dog do something else. And it's like, okay, well, now Naughty Dog themselves is having to remake a game they already made and already remastered. Now, granted, if the whole idea is that we're going to move the material and the premise of the game to more of whatever you're going to talk about in the HBO show and make this somewhat different, do kind of like a FF7 where this isn't necessarily a shot for shot remake. This is, we're going to kind of take it in a different direction remake. Then, okay, I'm kind of more, or I'm less like, okay, why are we wasting time on this?
I mean, I guess by that point, I would rather see it also got slightly touched up, but I would rather see like Uncharted 1 being remastered.
That was the idea, actually, apparently, as well, was that eventually if they knock this out of the park, they would let them remake Uncharted, which would obviously more work because there is no remaster of that right now.
I played that game on PS3 and that game is rough. I thought it was rough back then. So trying to play it now.
I played it as part of the Drake collection. They took out the 6-axis stuff.
That's when I played too. But I just meant even the core shooting and movement was this feels a little off or just a little archaic.
Yeah, I mean, and that's part of the I think reason why they do want to remake it is because I can understand them in a way. Like you're gonna get a lot of people that are gonna watch this show, right? And that they're gonna want to eventually maybe buy this game or this series. And Last of Us Part 1 still plays like a PS3 game, even though it's been remastered.
I don't know. I mean, that's the thing. It has, I guess, maybe a few clunky elements, but I think it actually holds up really well. Like,
Yeah.
and think about, I mean, also like think about like GTA 5.
Well,
Keep porting that hunk of shit over to new
well,
consoles.
but that's the thing though. Rockstar doesn't care because why? Because they want you to just play GT Online.
Yeah.
They like Sony, and that's part of this article as well that's been explored is that Sony is doing this whole like kind of like play it safe thing with their games right now. They're not really taking the chances. I saw a lot of people going, "Oh man, I want Sean Layden back." Like, what's with this?
I mean,
Jim Ryan and
you know who they should hire, and he's looking for a job. Reggie Fils-Aimé.
could you imagine? Like, okay, it's one thing to go to GameStop. Like, oh, you go to the enemy, and now go over to Sony. Like,
he just pulls out a Sony Vita 2 and says, "We're here to kick ass and take names."
yeah, I mean, who knows if that's going to happen because now Sony has their own like mobile head, and they're going to try to do the Nintendo approach, or well, Nintendo was doing it for a while, of like let's try to bring some of our big games over to the mobile space and try to make money there. Of course, they're seeing Activision do that with King and so many others that try to take part of the Square Enix as another one that is big on mobile with all their gotcha stuff and everything. So like I can understand that, but I can also understand they don't have a handheld anymore. So if they can get their mobile stuff to work and make games that are sort of worth it, then who knows? But as Nintendo had to learn, a lot of people don't like the traditional model being put into mobile games. So how are they going to, are they going to do Last of Us, like the mobile version, or I mean, like, what are they going to do here with that? So
A bunch of touchscreens and slot machines.
yeah, I mean, okay, so let's like look at this from a different perspective, right? Of Sony has a lot of games, a lot of old franchises that are kind of gone with the wind, you could say. Like, are you one of those that are okay with them kind of sort of everything is this cinematic movie type experience, or do you wish that you could see some of these older franchises come back?
I mean, I want to see the older franchises come back, but I want to see them done well. Like, where's the HD version of Jumpin' Flash?
Fair enough, but I think like there are quite a few people that are upset about like, okay, Sucker Punch, are we going to see an Infamous like collection and or see any of those games get any kind of remaster or whatever? I mean, I don't know if they're gonna do another one in that series because I felt like the last one that that was it. Like they didn't want to make any in that series.
I don't think First Son did that well. Yeah.
Second Son.
Second Son, whatever. I was thinking, the DLC was like First Light or whatever, or
Yes,
Last Light. So.
Exactly.
But I don't think, like, they don't seem interested in it, so it's not like you hear any of their guys going like, "Oh, we'd like to bring back Infamous." I mean, same thing with like Killzone. Like, they're never bringing that back, or Resistance.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, Guerrilla Games is off to better things. Like, I don't think that they want to do that. I mean, they're happy with Ghost. You know, I think there wasn't there a story that a Ghost 2 is already being worked on or is in some kind of like pre-production?
That would not surprise me in the least. Yeah, of course that game's getting worked on.
So, I mean, that's the thing that's surprising is like, yes, I know that there was some negative things for Days Gone, but like everything else is getting a 2. Why not?
Yeah, especially since like Days Gone ended kind of on a cliffhanger. Like they can make another Ghost. It'll be some other character, I assume. But like Days Gone ended with like the biker guy, like the world isn't like saved or anything. Like he just got his wife back.
Yeah, I mean, at least Sony came out and gave some kind of press release on the whole MLB The Show 21 going to Game Pass, but it was like the obvious thing of, well, MLB does the publishing, so we had nothing to do with that, as we talked about, even though I'm sure, sorry again for the terrible audio, but that being said, it's just like, man, there's a lot of communication not being done by Sony right now on a lot of
Well,
things.
yeah, I mean, like other people have said, I just don't think Jim Ryan is like a great fit for that role. Like he'd be
Well,
good as a businessman, but it's not like he is fun businessman.
yeah, I'm surprised like you don't see like even a Bloodborne 2. Like there's a lot of people that want that.
Or
I know,
Bloodborne remaster. I mean, that's
yeah, people want that thing with a 4K 60
yeah,
patch, and
yeah.
they not even have that. So, I mean,
I mean, they could probably hackers have shown that's pretty easy to do, at least the 60 FPS one on a PS4. So hire that dude, make him do it on the PS5, then put it out for $20 or $30 or whatever.
yeah, I mean, this is one of those things that I think we're gonna have to just let it play itself out. I mean, I saw a lot of people being like, okay, well, now we better see some footage for God of War Ragnarok or something.
I saw there's some claptrap about like, oh, Sony's working on a counterpunch to Game Pass, and it's like, okay. I mean, I'll believe when I see it, but
I mean, the thing is, like, it's not the same unless Sony puts their games day one on whatever, on PS Now or whatever service you're going to call it, because that is the majority of why you are going after Game Pass. I don't see Sony saying, let's go spend a bunch of money to go get a bunch of third parties or indies, um, to our platform like that. Like, they're already paying for these timed exclusives. Like, why do they need people to have this service? Like, it's like, I could see them beefing up PS Now and putting in more games in there, and maybe putting in some of the games that have had their 6-month run or their 1 year run or something like that, like, or adding to the PS Plus collection.
yeah.
But it's just like, I cannot see them doing what Microsoft's doing, because that's just not them. Like, there's no one. I mean, okay, whatever. Outriders was a big grab for Microsoft, right?
I
And
guess.
so is MLB The Show. The thing is, those games come off that service. It's not permanent.
I
So,
mean, that's my problem. One of the problems I have with Game Pass by itself is like, I would rather have. I mean, it's kind of apples and oranges, but I would rather have PS Plus because they have better games. And the second you add it to your library, it's there forever. I mean, I have to keep paying for it, obviously, but like, Sony is never going to yank Oddworld, Soulstorm off my PS Plus, PS Plus account.
no, you're right. I'm just saying, like, and then that is why PS Plus is great, and we don't see that with Games for Gold, aside from when Gears 5 showed up that 1 month when they tried to change the Xbox Live Gold price.
Yeah.
But, like, that's the thing, is Microsoft could do that because they need to make up ground. And yes, they are making up ground, and yes, they are getting, it's not to steal a pun from LB The Show, but they're knocking out of the park constantly with all these great, just in the news for backwards compatibility stuff, the touch controls being added to like mobile. I mean, all these moves with Game Pass, GTA 5 coming back to Game Pass now. I mean, they're getting all these sports games on Game Pass. NHL 21 is now on Game Pass again. Like, it's like, or not again, but not like it's another sports game that gets added on there, along with NBA and Madden and now MLB. So it's like it's becoming a place where they have all these different kinds of games. The thing is, you're also not getting like the 4K 60 patch, so you're still having to pay for that as well. I mean, the cool thing about Game Pass is you do get a discount eventually whenever that game is going to leave, and they give you enough time to know if that game's going to leave. But it's still not there permanently. Yeah, you could say, okay, I got my fill of Outriders by the time it leaves, right?
Yeah.
I got my fill of MLB The Show by the time it leaves. And that's fine, and that's the truth. I mean, for me, that's usually what it happens. I don't go back and play, even if I decide to buy it. I don't go back and play it. I'm moving on to something else, and that's how most people are. They don't even. A lot of people don't even finish those games. So, like, that's the thing is though. I don't think that washes away Sony's model. Does Sony eventually maybe have to do something with PS Now because everything's just becoming a service? Sure, I think they do need to have their own service because even Ubisoft is doing it. Like, EA has their EA Play thing. Like, I think could Sony be Nintendo and just also keep just being this bastion of no, this is how it's always worked. This is what we're gonna do, and you ain't changing it. And as long as people keep buying the game or the games, then they're gonna keep doing it. And that's the thing is, you can say what you want about this Last of Us remake, and I'm one of those that feels like I really wish Naughty Dog could be doing something else. Again, unless Naughty Dog is able to change it and say, okay, the story is gonna model itself after the HBO show. How would you feel if they end up putting the Pedro Pascal and I can't think of her name,
Girl.
the actress that is playing Ellie in the show as the voice actors to also kind of go that route as well?
That'd be weird because, I mean, people associate Joel as Troy Baker.
Right. I understand that, but I'm just saying, like, if they come out and go, okay,
Also, like a
this
toggle.
is
That might be okay.
this remake is going more of telling the story that we're going to also be telling in the show, then okay, I'm kind of okay with that. Because you still have the original to play. It's been remastered. They could do another patch, I guess. They did a patch for loading times like 6 months ago. So, I mean, they could do another patch if they wanted to preserve the old game. I think there's just a lot that we still have to uncover with this. But I think what really does show is, even though, I mean, Sony's embracing a lot. I mean, Sony has indies that they're embracing. They're putting games on PlayStation Plus that you wouldn't expect. I mean, Returnal was still one of those things of like, well, you can point to all these other big name games, but that's still a experience that I think a lot of people are going to have to play to realize whether they like it or not. And will Sony's strategy wind up being the best in the end of we want all these big games, the games that are going to win the Oscar, so to speak, or the BAFTA, and not so much like all the stuff we see Microsoft doing where they're having their own indie direct and they're this thing and they're that thing. And so, yeah, this is going to be an interesting thing to watch this generation. What wins out? The service, the let's be on social media and talk to you all the time, or the Sony, we're just going to keep doing what we're doing and you're going to keep buying it or not. So,
I mean, considering the amount of, I don't know about used sales, about where you are, but I have seen occasional Xbox One or Xbox Series X's and S's, like for sale, for, like used. I've yet to see a used PS5.
well, yeah. I mean, no, people ain't. People are gonna wait for those big games to come out. That's what they're gonna do. I mean, the Series X and S right now, like, it's great to play Game Pass on if you love Game Pass or you're interested in Game Pass, or if you want to enjoy your old games, but they still don't have anything that, until Halo comes out, There's nothing that goes, oh, I'm buying that Xbox. It's only on there console wise. That's what
What
I'm getting.
are you talking about, man? Oblivion just hit Game Pass.
Yeah, or you can play it on your
I
phone. So,
actually I did see someone on my Facebook like talk about like Oblivion's on Game Pass, and I was like, really? Like you're
are you gonna play it though?
yeah,
Or are
it's
you
like
gonna
what
talk about it?
all two areas like the Oblivion Gate, and that's like the town, and that's it. Like
Well, a game that we will also not be playing on our PS5s for a while is Deathloop because it has been delayed until September 14th, 2021. Very close to when was it Back for Blood got delayed to,
that was like October, I think. But yeah,
or October. But still relatively close. But either way, like, so this game was supposed to come out in May, and then it's not now. It's supposed to come out May 21st, correct? And
yeah,
now it's been delayed to September 14th.
it
Obviously, yeah, go ahead.
it would be. I mean, they've said oh it's because of COVID or we need more time to work on it. It would be very interesting if the game somehow came to Xbox first.
I don't think they can do that. I think the exclusivity sticks around regardless of whenever
Yeah,
that game
I
comes
know, but
out.
it would just be funny.
Yeah, I mean, it would be, but still interesting to know if the rumors are true that apparently, there was a lot of speculation going around that the Yuffie DLC made it to where 7 Remake is exclusive for like another entire year for PlayStation. So
Oh,
we'll see.
maybe. I mean, it's good as Sony if they can to type that game as long as possible.
Oh yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if I don't know if that means that every number of that remake is exclusive to Sony for a while, or if the bidding war starts again with the second one. But it would be interesting if Microsoft doesn't get it until like when the second one's about to come out or something.
Just like Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, basically like Kingdom Hearts. But yeah, so I mean, it's pretty much the expected uh notice that we need to have extra time to make sure this game's right, which, hey, you know what? Delay your games. I'm going to keep saying this. Delay your games. Make sure they're right. You don't want them coming out a broken mess. You don't want them coming out with these server issues that Outriders has had. And good Lord, I feel so bad for the marketing teams, for those marketing team for that game and
Yeah.
the community manager for that game. Like they've been not sleeping for I don't know how many days dealing with this problem, and of course that has to do with Game Pass as well.
They should just
Yeah.
say it'd be really ballsy if they just said if you're having server issues or you can't connect, we have announced a new game for you. It's called Anthem.
Or you can go play Avengers on PS Now. I guess.
Yeah. No server issues with that game.
So speaking of more PS5 stuff, there was rumors going around too, which we will talk about, that Hideo Kojima's new game was this game called Abandon. Turns out it has nothing to do with Hideo Kojima's new game. This is actually an indie game by Blue Box Game Studios, and it's a PS5 exclusive survival horror game with also shooting mechanics and a heavy focus on realism that's coming out this year. Um, yeah, I mean, this is kind of your thing. You
Yeah.
like survival games.
I mean, a little. It'll be curious to see how well it does. I kept getting this game mixed up with oh, I forget the name of that. Did you see the name of that game? It's going to be like an FMV horror game.
I did not.
Uh yeah, Ghost. That's it. It's a FMV game that's like only works at 10 p.m. and whatever time zone you're in.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting.
It's not. I mean, it's obviously not the same developer, but it's Limited Run Games is making it. That's right.
Okay.
Uh, and it's supposed to. I gather it's supposed to be like a modern version of Night Shift or Night Trap. Sorry.
Okay, that makes sense. Since they're the
Yeah.
ones that brought the Night Trap back.
Right. But yeah, it only works at 10 p.m. and it's like, okay, what happens when everyone plays this for like a week and then everyone cancels their subscription? Because I imagine this is going to be some type of subscription-based game.
What, this Abandoned?
No, I meant this Ghost
Oh,
thing.
okay.
Abandoned might be cool. Like it looked like the screenshots looked fine.
Yeah, I mean, you're supposedly kidnapped by some real violent religious cult. Gives me bad Far Cry 5 vibes.
Yeah, I was just gonna say it's gonna be this dumbass with that game.
But and that shooting feels realistically slow, because it's a survival game. It's not meant for you to like be Rambo or whatever.
Yeah,
So we'll see. But
yeah.
cool that.
Have you heard of this game? Speaking of like slow shooting, have you heard or seen of this game called Together B&B?
No.
Oh man, it's this Asian. I'm betting Asian made game. The crux is like you take over your brother's B&B, like bed and breakfast out in the woods, and it's full of like attractive women for you to date and like perv on.
Oh Lord.
And like, so they had a trailer a few months ago. It looked very much like dating sim slash like management sim. It's like, oh, this looks fine. Like, it looks very Asian kind of, but looks pretty and nice. And they showed a trailer like yesterday or today, and like half the trailer is that, and the other half is like you pulling a gun out and shooting everything around you. And it's like, this took a turn. Like,
Yeah, definitely.
like you were like pulling a gun out and like literally shooting up like the B&B kitchen, and it's like, what the hell is going on here? And like there's a protracted scene where you're trying to fight like a wolf and like with a gun, and it's like, what happened?
Well, you went to a B&B and
Yeah,
shit got
exactly.
crazy. So it's like
That's what
cabin in
happens
the woods.
every B&B. You buy an elephant statue and then you shoot a wolf.
So going on from there to this rumor, um, being discussed by some of the big ones, including Jeff Grubb at VentureBeat. So Microsoft's reportedly rumor, don't quote me on it, in talks with Hideo Kojima to publish the next game, and this is apparently a way for along with Kojima Productions to have Microsoft once again try to get some kind of leverage or focus on Japanese talent. So there's nothing confirmed about this at all. We don't know what the Kojima game is called. But this is hinting once again at that Phil Spencer having that Death Stranding sort of homage in that last video that we saw him in by himself during I guess that last Xbox thing.
Yeah.
But not the Bethesda one, but a different one. So I think it's the one where he's talking to Todd Howard. But yeah, I mean it would be pretty crazy that Kojima's Death Stranding was PS5, PC exclusive, and then you go all of a sudden go over to Xbox to make your next game.
See, he could try, but I think at least Kojima Productions was, founded with Sony money. So
Was it founded with Sony money? The game, the Death Stranding, was made with Sony
no,
money.
they ponied up for Kojima, or they paid him, or they paid to get the studio going.
Yeah.
So
I mean, but hey, you can say that all you want, but what you do after the studio, I mean, they never outright bought it either. So, I mean, now Kojima can kind of do whatever he wants. I don't know. I think this would be a big grab for Microsoft that they could do that and keep it exclusive, like Death Stranding is. or was. Don't know if that means Death Stranding is going to show up on Xbox as well. But I mean, who knows? Again, this is a rumor. We don't know. Kojima's one of those that can take a while to make a game, and you won't know the facts about it until even later than that. So,
I mean, yeah, when they reformed Kojima Productions, like Sony or SCE was like announced it with them, you know.
yeah,
So
no, that's true.
I imagine they have money, they own part of that. Uh, I mean, Microsoft could try. I mean, they've had Metal Gear games on Xbox before, like Metal Gear Solid 2 Subsistence.
And the
But
Vengeance game, right?
yeah, but that was I mean, that was like day and date, I think, or that was,
Right.
and that was also not Kojima. That was Platinum. But I just mean
Right.
like they could try. But I mean, I all of Microsoft's attempts to get like Japanese people interested in their games doesn't go well.
Yeah, but I think it's different when you have Kojima and you're kind of let him do whatever he wants, right? And you're just
What
going to back him with money.
as opposed to Sakaguchi when Blue Dragon, Blue
No,
Dragon.
but I think that was like that was them shoehorning like, okay, we're gonna have these Japanese RPGs, and I mean, Blue Dragon was fine. I think Lost Odyssey is one of those like underrated games that like
Oh, Lost
not a lot of
Odyssey.
people.
Yeah. Lost Odyssey's great, but I just mean like like they keep trying to bash your head against that market, and it just always smacks of like desperation because yeah, no one over there will care.
Well, but I mean, I feel like okay, so
And
to
I
be
think like
fair, like Square has been giving them a lot of their games. I mean, yes, they're old or really old, and then old with Dragon Quest. I mean, they didn't have to do that, right? It's like, okay, well, what's the point? But they did it, and they even got Kingdom Hearts. I mean, it's like
yeah,
I
but I mean, what is Sony going to do? Make the money, or not Sony? What is Square going to do? Make the money to make Final Fantasy VII for PlayStation 4, which has 50 million units in Japan, or spend the money to make Final Fantasy like a port of Final Fantasy VII, which has 20,000 in Japan.
well, I know, and I'm just saying. My point is that like Microsoft has been getting more Japanese
Oh,
studios like to work
yeah,
with them and be
and
behind
they've
them.
been buying
Yeah,
more too. But I just mean like it's just never. It's just they just can't tap into that market, or they just can't
yeah,
tap into it effectively. And hey, part of it's racism, slightly, or at least they are a foreign company. Like,
right. And
I
they're
hate to say it.
unabashed about it, right? They're not like I mean, the Japanese market has always been that like thing of, well, we're coming to you to try to get in. We're not really, you weren't our first thought,
Yeah,
right? And also it's just Japan as well. It does not sell that much. I mean, right now this console is selling. It's not that. It's that they don't really have a lot of market share over there. There's stores that just won't even carry Xbox stuff at all.
yeah. I mean, yeah.
You know, so
That's kind of the point. Yeah,
yeah.
just why would a store devote aisle space or space to an Xbox? I mean, it might sell, but like it also might not.
Well, I mean, now it could. I feel like, but back in the day, definitely there was a huge reason why you would not, because you're wasting the space. Nobody's buying that. I feel
Yeah,
like Series X and S are kind of changing that a little bit, but we'll definitely see, especially with them doing so much for mobile and those things. I think that helps a lot too, because remember Japan has a huge mobile gaming influence there, and I think making so many of those games accessible on mobile, especially with touch controls, where you don't have to have that controller out there with you, I think helps them too in that realm.
yeah,
But yeah, again, this is another one of those, just like the Last of Us thing. We have to see if that ever grows any legs at all, and maybe we'll see something about that in a story we'll talk about in a little bit. But before we go to our first little ad break here, I want to talk about a deal that was made this week that was kind of shocking. Not really, I feel like, because I think most people, I mean, you have Netflix. I mean, is this really that big a deal? I think it's a big deal for Disney, right? You want to have all your MCU stuff in one place. Kind of sucks for them, but Sony's always going to try to keep themselves separate from that, and they do it once again by getting a deal done with Netflix, where Netflix will have first look rights to movies that Sony produces or licensing for streaming platforms, or basically anytime a Sony movie hits theaters, you're going to see it on Netflix. You're not going to see it on Disney Plus. So sorry, you won't have like Spider-Man on Disney Plus, regardless of whether it's MCU or not. You're going to have to watch that on Netflix. So like Venom, same thing. Yeah,
Oh
maybe
no.
more. Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
What about the new Morbius movie?
Yeah, Morbius could just debut on Netflix, and I think it'd be way better off than just having everybody waste their time going to the theater. But whatever. Uh, that's another thing for another day. I feel like, but paying $1 billion for 5 years, damn, bro, like that's a lot of money for some movies
Well,
that
Netflix
haven't
isn't
haven't
seen
come
as
out.
like super popular. I mean, oh, not popular, but like super, exciting right now. So it makes sense.
Well, no, it's not that. I mean, they're coming out with movies every freaking week. I
Yeah,
mean,
but
like
people
it's
are talking more about Disney Plus or Peacock, kind of, or HBO Max.
yeah,
I mean,
because they have the more known. I mean, freaking Godzilla and Kong came out, and I watched it because it was on HBO Max. I mean, like, that's pretty awesome. I mean, Netflix doesn't have that right now. I mean, Disney Plus has the Marvel shows, so they get that, and then they're bringing back old franchises like the Mighty Ducks thing that I've been watching, which I've been enjoying, and it's like Netflix. These movies are fine, right? And
yeah,
there's nothing against them. I think they're good in their own right. They're not. I wouldn't say any of them are like, oh my god. I mean, some of them, maybe I just haven't watched them all. I can't speak for everybody, but it's like some of them, the ones that I have watched, is like, okay, this is fine. Like not every one of these is going to be a banger, but
right.
it's hard for Netflix, I think, to compete when you have all these major companies now also having a streaming service and they have their stuff. I
Yeah,
mean, Peacock got The Office back. That helps a lot. And, they have sports and they have WWE now and they have, all that. So it's like, it's hard to compete in that area. And even though Netflix has been kind of the forefront, look how much money they're having to spend to do that. And they also did that. What they paid 450 million to have the Knives Out sequel.
yeah,
So, like, crazy that they're spending this stuff for these movies. But man, if I guess if it helps them get even more subscribers or had subscribers come back, but I do worry if that means, and is the price is going to keep going up. Like
yeah,
it's already at like $19 or whatever
yeah.
for the 4K plan. So we're gonna get to the point where it's like $25 a month to have Netflix. Like God.
Everyone will go back
Uh,
to cable.
that's what I'm like. People talk shit about cable, but I mean, if you really think about it, especially with like, okay, Comcast makes you pay what $25 now for unlimited. Thank God, it used to be 50. Um, and then you basically almost have to have unlimited data at this point now for a lot of people. If you do any kind of, if everybody in your house watches stuff on streaming or plays games at all, you kind of have to have the unlimited almost.
Yeah,
So then you have that, and if you have to have any kind of major speed increase, like that, that's a major part of your bill, and then so that's separate from all the streaming services you're paying for. And if you start adding up all the streaming services, right, and now like Paramount Plus is getting into it with all the combinations they have, like start adding up all those services that you have it starts looking like a freaking cable bill.
Yeah.
And it's no joke. I mean, it almost makes me sometimes go like, damn, do I need to just invest in an antenna and cut off the cable here? Because like I hate it that I freaking got into a damn contract with these people because now I have to keep paying this stupid bill. But it's like my girlfriend's doing the smart thing if she got her we got her dad an antenna. And Roku has all these like digital channels that go along with it as well. And then uh, I'm like, man, uh, we could pay $30 a month to just have 25 megabyte internet over there and cut off the cable,
Right.
and
Yeah.
and then have all the services. It's like way better than paying a bunch of freaking money to just have limited cable and then have all that other stuff. It's like that's and then if you start I mean, I guess that's where you win, right? Is if you have to start raising up that cable bill to get those channels that you get in the service, like an ESPN or whatever, then that's where it starts really ramping up. And I guess the services still win there, but I don't know. I wonder if Disney will ever unhinge and let you pay a certain amount to just watch ESPN completely on ESPN Plus.
Nope.
Yeah. No, let's see. Who knows? With everything going so much into the service, I wonder if we'll eventually get to that point. So see, but man, Netflix just shocking people and making big moves here with this deal with Sony. So let's take a little bit of break and talk about Grammarly. Marc submitted his Persona 5 Strikers review, and Grammarly has already helped me make various edits without having to really lift much of a finger to just click underneath, figure out what the problem is, press a button to make it work, and voila, the review already looks better and has editing that I didn't have to do a whole lot of reading to fix. And that's where Grammarly is helpful. I mean, it'd be great if you use our awesome link and, go over there and press and type in getgrammarly.com/W2 network and go be part of that special offer and sign up and help us out. But even if you just use our link to download and put the browser extension in there, if you don't already use it already, if not, you know what? There's other browsers. If you use multiple browsers and you don't have it in that other browser, you can do that and help us out. I mean, that works too. But all I'm saying really is that Grammarly helps you in so many different ways, whether it's an email, writing a messenger post to your friend, writing a tweet, because sometimes we get in these long tweets and you don't realize that you misspelled like 3 different words trying to make it shorter and shorter. I run into this problem. I'm trying to put out a thought, and then I go, oh, crap, I got to start deleting stuff. And then you forget that, oh, now you mistyped this word or you didn't say this right. Well, here comes that line from Grammarly to tell you, oh, you need to fix that. So, yeah. I mean, like, Grammarly is it's almost like a way of life for me. I have it installed on like almost everything now. And man, it's way better than spell check. You don't have to. I mean, you can pay the premium price, and it does even better writing for you if you write papers or whatever. But still, you should definitely, if you do any kind of writing at all, something you should invest in. And remember again, getgrammarly.com/W10 network. So, we talked about, I think last week, about how E3 was. Nobody announced that it was going to be digital, but there was rumors going around of would they put it behind a paywall, or some of it would they put demos behind a paywall, And now we kind of got more information from the Internet Entertainment Software Association about their partners, who's involved, when it's going to be, and that there is going to be no paywall.
Yeah.
So that's good. It's positive to know that there is going to be like demos you can play of games online, hopefully that day. But like, how do you feel about E3 with Summer Game Fest existing out there? They did say that it wasn't going to be the huge 4 month long thing, but it's still going to be a whole month long. This is 3 days long with Nintendo, Xbox, Capcom, Konami, Ubisoft, Take-Two, Warner Brothers, and Koch Media as the headliners. No Sony, no EA. Do you feel like it's still a good E3 even without Sony and EA?
Yeah. I mean, because they weren't big parts of it, like, last year, the past couple years. So it's going to
Right.
be, I mean, yeah, I'd say go for it. I just don't want. I don't like that summer games thing. Like it was too long in the first place. But even going like, oh, it's a month long now. It's like that's still too long, guys. Like
Yeah, I mean,
you're trying to spread the butter out too thin on this piece of bread.
yeah, I mean, I was one of the ones that thought it was a good idea at first, and
Yeah,
then as things went on,
I was one going like, nope.
yeah, it
I mean,
really turned into a terrible thing of like, oh my God, how are we supposed to keep up with all this stuff for that long? Like,
even
really?
a month might be better, kind of, but still too. I think it's just too, just too thin.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think if you wanted to separate it out and have it be another one of these things, right? Like, okay, you have Gamescom, you have PAX, you have E3.
Yeah,
If you want to make it something else like that and it be a week long, right? That you do it in a different time of the
yeah.
year,
Or it could have like
then
different themes, like, hey, here's the Halo week, or hey, here's Gears, or but they don't do that because that'd be too intelligent, apparently. So,
well, no, I mean, like, I don't know if you could do a whole week, maybe a day, but it's still like, I think the point is E3 still has a name. There's a lot of people saying, oh, well, E3 should just die already. And it's like, well, E3 has a name. Why are they not going to keep going until somebody really does
I
put
mean,
them
yeah, it's
out?
still the most. I mean, it's still the most well known, uh, like expo or thing. I mean,
I mean,
PAX is
and
also.
then, right, yeah,
Oh, go ahead.
PAX too.
I was gonna say PAX is up there, but they don't really break deals there or break announcements. It's more like, oh, here's just a cool convention.
Yeah, and then I think that's the thing is like E3 still is, even though you're letting fans in now, whatever, but or just gamers or whatnot, but like, and they're paying, it's still a trade show. It's still an event that people go and make deals. Games happen because this person met this person there, or this person caught up with this person and said, "Oh crap, let's make a game together. Let's do this. Let's do that." Like a lot of things happen because E3. You still don't have the physical E3. Hopefully next year, more people getting vaccinated, all that stuff. You are going to have that. But I mean, why not try this thing out? Last year you didn't really have anything. This year, why not? And you got all these people that are going to be behind you. We're
Yeah,
trying to, they're saying they're making it into more of an inclusive event. They're going to have the major reveals. They're going to have, insider opportunities, all that stuff. Now there are quite a few. Um, like I saw reports saying that it may not be the blockbuster show that it used to be, which I think is what's gonna hurt them. Is that they're still, like we're seeing with Square Enix, right? They're not even gonna be at this thing. They're just putting it all on their Summer Presents deal.
right.
Like there are gonna be people like Ubisoft could still do their Ubisoft Forwards, and that's where they do the big reveals, and they don't really do the big reveals at E3. Will Microsoft do that with their own thing? Are they going to just do it all at E3? Is Nintendo going to have their traditional like direct where they really just show off everything? Are they going to have their own thing that's not even during E3 week? Where they do that. So I mean, Capcom, Resident Evil will be out by then, but are they gonna show off, first Resident Evil 4 gameplay or something there, or is it gonna be just some other things that maybe aren't cared about that much? Like, everybody keeps fantasizing about GTA 6. I don't think that's gonna be there, but I just wonder about if E3 doesn't get these big reveals, will it make it to where people again start wondering, well, what's the point?
Yeah.
And when E3 goes back to physical and you're starting to charge again for all these big boosts and everything, what's going to happen there? And I think that's the bigger thing, I think, to me, is what happens when it goes back to physical? Are people going to go, well, why when I can save money and just do this event? And it doesn't even have to be, will everybody do their own like EA Play thing where you just set up something at a different area that's yours and you don't have to do E3 at all? I don't know.
No, I think it'll still be physical, or just like the prestige of E3.
You do? You think E3 will be back in full force?
Not in full force, but I mean,
yeah.
it went away already once and came back. So.
Well, fair enough then. I just wanted to like discuss that because it's interesting,
Right. And like I said, I mean, there are other conventions like TGS or whatever, Cologne or whatever the hell it's called. But I mean, E3 is still a big one.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, E3 is the huge one still, and I credit to them for not just going away quietly. They are at least have tried to put out something formidable, for the time being. Of course, as we get closer to those dates, we'll probably know more, as which usually happens. And there'll be certainly surprises there too, I'm sure, if things don't all get leaked. And speaking of surprises, Nintendo just all of a sudden dropped another Switch Online. Not totally exclusive. They are going to release this eventually, I think by itself for $30. Pac-Man 99 is out there. I meant to play this and I just didn't have the time. Basically the same way as Tetris 99. You and 98 other people. Except for this one has some additions. Have you seen this or played it?
I didn't play it. I just saw the trailer and was like, "Yep, that's Pac-Man." And then I said, "Yep, not interested that much."
Not interested. I mean, that looks fun. I'm definitely gonna try it out. Like
it's like a weird fusion of like Pac-Man, Battle Royale, and then like Pac-Man DX, Pac-Man Championship Edition.
I like now, and it makes you wonder what else they could do with this 99 series for Nintendo, because like I like the whole thing with the Jammer Pac-Man, and then also
keep going.
Yeah, and then the one where you like they line them all up and you eat them all, and then you get to just decide who you want to freaking blast and send out Jammer Pac-Man to. Like that looks like it could be like a lot of fun just to like knock out people that way. So
I'm waiting for Legend of Zelda 99. We have to play through NES Zelda against 99 other players.
They could do that. They could do Sonic that way too. Or you play through some of the levels like with Mario 35. Some of those other Bandai Namco like arcade things like Galaga or could they could do that. Space Invaders could get one, when they're not doing that AR Space Invaders thing. Will be interesting. Which was the next one to come out? But Pac-Man seemed like the most logical. I mean, you trade one legend in Mario for Pac-Man. Not too bad of a switch there. But yeah, you can go play it out right now. Yeah, if you haven't tried it yet.
After as I go out.
Do you feel like these make that Switch Online thing kind of worth it, having these little games? I mean, not even like Tetris 99.
Well, you got to do something. Like, other than that, like, that's the only thing that's keeping that thing afloat, really. It's not the emulation, and it's not typically the multiplayer for that now.
Yeah, That's true as well. So, Nintendo
Yeah,
Switch.
yeah. It's
But
like I'd rather have that than here are two more NES games that you never heard of before. Here you go.
they are just doing that service so dirty. I mean, like I get it. Like you're releasing like obscure titles or whatever that like if you were releasing them out on the virtual console, nobody would really give a shit about. But I guess you could try these out. But it's
Yeah,
still like if you had all of the other games that people really wanted to play, and then you're down to these obscure titles, I think it works
yeah,
better that way.
yeah. If it was like, oh, here's Captain Planet for the NES and Baby's Kids for Super Nintendo because every other game for the NES and Super Nintendo is already on there. That'd be one thing, but it's not. So
I mean, I get that they want to have some of these big titles available to like just be able to when they want to all of a sudden announce them, like they did with the other two Donkey Kong Country games, but there's just so few and far between
yeah,
that for the most part, all you're getting is these like super obscure titles that you're like, really? You want me to pay $20? I mean, I get it. It's only $20 a year, which is three times less than what you're paying to have gold or PS Plus a year. But it's still like, man,
I mean,
put out some of these bigger games.
at least I mean, say what you want about Xbox Gold, it is still a better value proposition than the Switch Online.
I mean, you can also just get Game Pass for 6 months or
Yeah, but that isn't an online multiplayer. Like,
well, if you get the Ultimate one, it is.
yeah,
But so before we hit that second ad break, there was a Nintendo Switch data mine that uncovered some stuff, and most notably, people have been asking for the Bluetooth, be able to have Bluetooth headphones for a while, and it looks like there is a update that could make them work, but there's nothing so far like that Nintendo has actually done that yet. And there's also an update which would allow the dock to update itself to 4K. Don't know if that means
I I doubt
yeah,
it. I mean, that dock is pretty simple, so
yeah,
at
that's what
least
I was thinking too.
upscale
Like,
it.
isn't that the whole point of this upgraded Switch is that you would then have a dock that would do a little bit more to make it to where it's
Unless it's like,
doing
well, unless it's like they could do both. Like they could say, here's the new Switch, but also if we don't want to fully upgrade, here's the dock just to get 4K on the TV.
then what's the point of the upgrade?
Well, because if you're it's like you and you use your Switch portably,
Yeah,
better quality graphics on that thing.
yeah, I guess.
I mean,
Well,
if
I
that was
mean, yeah.
if it was me, I would just get the dock if I could. 'Cause I don't take my Switch out at all, really. So
Yeah, I'm sure they're gonna sell that new dock by itself, like they did the old one.
yeah, but do you think it'll be compatible? That's the thing. I doubt it'll be compatible with the old Switch, or you'll get like 4K on it or something.
We'll see what they do. I mean, look, again, this is just a data mine. Doesn't mean that it
Yeah, who
actually
knows?
works or
Yeah,
that they will do this update soon or whatever. We don't really know. Um, but I mean, if they could do that with the old docks where it works in 4K with an update, I mean, that's amazing. But I feel like maybe that's just more hints towards the new Switch.
yeah,
Don't I wouldn't get super excited about it, but it is interesting that it's there.
yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about Amazon Music Unlimited. Again, I want to keep stating this, and not just because, we're giving you a 30-day free trial here. I mean, it's 30 days for free. You can go use a service that continues to get more cool stuff. I mean, I think the Bravely Default soundtrack is now on there along with Bravely Default 2. I mean, you get more artists added every day. There's a lot of the older artists that, I mean, yes, again, you're having stuff locked behind a paywall that technically like Spotify doesn't do, or some of these other musical services don't do. But there's something to be saying that, like, you pay what you get what you pay for,
Yeah.
right? And if you use our link, the which I mean, you should definitely be doing. And whether you actually, used it to get the full like 9.99 a month later, or to if you have like one of those Amazon Echoes that you can just pay like $4, or you're a student, you could pay even less. I mean, again, like there's options here. You don't have to get the actual like just full version, or you can even have a family plan if you have several people in your family that like to have these streaming music services. If you end up liking it, use our link, getamazonmusic.com /W2 Network. It really helps us. If you go through that full sign up process, and make sure you do. And then, of course, hey, refer other people too. That'd be great. You get to enjoy, most of all, get to enjoy some fantastic music. Whatever it is you like, there's something out there. And speaking of music legends, sad that DMX passed away after a battle with an overdose. And man, he was still a young guy, still young. I mean, just if you think about 90s, 2000s rap, I mean, X wouldn't give it to you. His redo for, or his cover of "Ain't Got No Sunshine," like "Let 'Em Fly." I mean, he has some fantastic songs, and you know, use Amazon Music Unlimited to listen to some DNX.
Yep.
So we go from that to, I don't know if this is more depressing or less depressing. WWE 2K22 is going to get shown off. Of course, with WrestleMania 37 happening.
Well, I mean, DMX may have passed, but no one's actively having sex with the corpse, unlike WWE.
Oh, stop it. Stop it. Stop it. That's terrible. Come on. Oh my God. What? Oh. Well, he's in the Hall of Fame now. So.
I mean, you'll laugh, I actually picked up a copy of that kitty game, or that, whatever the hell they put out last year, as part of this, like, some Steam bundle thing.
The
Super Strikers or Battlegrounds, that's it.
Battlegrounds, yeah.
Yep.
Well, I mean, at least they keep putting out characters for it.
And I got it for PC, so I'm actually kind of curious if I can like hack the game to just like
I'm
unlock
sure
everything.
you'll figure out a way.
Yeah.
I mean, with WrestleMania 37 happening between today and tomorrow, you will get your wrestling fill already, and they always use that time to show off some of the new games. So, and why not when 2K12 was so bad?
Yeah.
Or 2K20, sorry.
Triple H's hair looked better than it's ever looked before.
No, get it right. The like 5 versions of Triple H that they gotta have.
Yeah.
In the game, like along with like the 4 versions of
The Rock and Undertaker and Stone Cold.
And whatever, and forget the new characters or the new wrestlers. Like, let's just have everybody in there. Like, it's fine, folks. It's fine.
Is there really a dude? I mean, I know you're kind of falling out of wrestling like the past year or two, but is there really a dude named Otis in that thing?
Yes, there is a dude named Otis. Yes, and he had a storyline for a while where he was trying to get one of the women wrestlers, Mandy, to be his date, and they eventually hit it off or whatever. After a while, like, it was a kind of a big story for a bit.
And wasn't there like a previous? I mean, there have been I forget it. I know wasn't there like a previous like was it Hacksaw Jim Duggan?
Yes, Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
It's like why is this dude not like kayfabe his son or something like that, or like
He looks like him a lot.
or I mean there have been or Hillbilly Jim, that was like another one. It's like why isn't this like Hillbilly Otis, like his his son or something like that?
I mean, Hacksaw, yeah, Hillbilly, I don't know, because most people that are watching wrestling at this point probably don't know who he is at
Yeah.
all. But, you know.
Like, come on,
Like,
have some.
I'm sure Otis will be in WWE 2K22, though. You can play.
Yeah. I'm sure he'll look just like he does in real life, too.
Or not, and the character models somehow have progressed, even though you have new consoles to play these things on.
It was funny, like, the most closest guy they got in 2K20 was, like, Baron Corbin. It's like, really?
That tells you everything you need to know, because Baron Corbin is the most vanilla dude.
This is where you're spending your money on, huh?
Yep, that's what they spent the money on. Well, getting into some quick ones here. I know something that you were a big fan of, Castlevania Resurrection, which is the Dreamcast game, has resurfaced after more than 20 long years. The canceled Sega game looks like it's come out in a new demo.
Yeah, it was like a video of this dude like playing the game with one hand, kind of not well, and then like holding a camera with the other.
And it shows off Sonia Belmont as well. It's a actual like 3D platformer too.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, came out like after the N64 ones, I think, or supposed to anyway, I should say. But yeah, it got crushed out because Konami America was like not good, like most Dreamcast America developers.
Well, yeah, I mean, also it's just like it's not that new Metroid thing, Nintendo's gonna yank that. So.
And also those other 3D Castlevania games for the N64, not great.
Well, yeah, no.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully this thing leaks, because, I mean, it's just a few hallways, like a few environments, but hey, better than nothing. And I'm curious to see it. I was actually kind of curious to play that game back in the day.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully, for yourself and many other big Castlevania fans, that maybe it'll come out one day.
It was funny. Well, like, I guess the composer, like, this disc went up for auction on eBay, and it got up to like $25,000, and like the composer for the game like emailed the guy and was like, "Oh, this is Konami's property" or something like that. And it's like, so the guy took it down the auction, but it's like, when has that ever mattered at all? Like, remember that Nintendo PlayStation that sold like last year or 2 years ago? Like, technically that would have been Sony's property, but dude still had it. Or like, there have been a lot of other prototypes or unreleased games that have been sold that technically are other people's property or company's property, but they don't care.
Well, I mean, Konami just does,
I mean, yeah, but it would be like Konami Japan. It's not Konami. I mean, Konami America doesn't exist, so
I don't know. They're just making sure, just so they don't, get the ire of Konami Japan.
Yeah,
it's not like Konami's really going out there making stuff.
Yeah, but they don't care about their old shit either. So that's the point. Like,
well, they do. They release those collections or whatever.
Yeah, but they're not going to care about some dude having a prototype version of Castlevania Resurrection. Like,
well, apparently it is an issue at this point. But hey, maybe it'll inspire someone to have that game come out.
Yeah.
But a game that did come out last year and was one of my favorite games of last year, I said so in my top 10, Streets of Rage 4 is getting DLC. We don't know what who the three characters are at the moment, but we do know that there's going to be Estelle Aguirre, who was one of the boss characters in the game. She was like the cop character. She's going to be a playable fighter. There's a new survival mode, which don't know if I'm going to play that, but still cool that it's coming. And I love the fact that there's going to be like a new weapons, and there's also like new moves added to the characters. Like it really does bring like a reason to go back and play that game, and then plus the new Mania Plus difficulty, which hey, people that want to play with the crazy difficulty, go ahead. That's not me, but I am excited to see what the new characters are going to be. So awesome that .mu is like bringing in paid DLC and free updates for this game still.
Other two characters will be Scott Pilgrim and then Michelangelo from the Turtles.
Hey, I'm down for that. Let's do it. Let's do it. Make it happen. And I know a thing that you're a big fan of, that Super NT going on sale, and then it goes out of stock again.
In minutes.
Well, I mean, people are wanting these, like we talked about last week. I know it was hard to understand, but like you talked about it. You went to a used store that said that they had like 75 freaking Xbox 360s. Now they have like none.
Yeah.
Right. So,
well, the funny thing
wanting a game.
The funny thing about the Super NT was like Analog was like, oh, we're going to limit it to 2 per customer. And it's like, that's fine. Like, good on them for that. I mean, it still sold out pretty quickly. But, like, there was some dude on Twitter who was like, oh, I tried to add 2 to my cart, but by the time it went through, they were already sold out. If you buy a Super NT from a reseller for more price, you're, like, part of the problem. And then I was just like, why does this dude need 2 of those things? Like,
yeah, just focus on getting one, and then you get the second one later. Like, like get that first one, get you that Super NT if that's what you want. Of course, this is a system that's like custom built to let you play Super NES games and Super Famicom cartridges. They said that they opened, they did open those orders yesterday, and it's crazy how fast they sold out, like Marc was talking about. So, and like cool that these like classic things come out, and then they like have them come out in like different colors and all that stuff. So I'm down with more things like this, and that, I mean, gotta have a way to preserve these consoles anyway. So this wasn't the obviously ideal way to end the show, but Marc's. To be fair, we were recording at like 3 a.m. because we spent like an hour and a half trying to figure out the problems with the Spreaker Studio that I had talked about at the beginning of the show. So by the time we were pretty much ending, it was like 4:30 in the morning, and Marc's internet went out and would not come back on. And just so that, I don't know how many people know that Jens, that sometimes guest on the show, is also the editor. So I didn't want to make Jens have to wait any longer, because the longer we wait, the longer it means the show gets to you guys out there in the MP3 land. So I'm going to do the rest of the solo. We were pretty much at the end anyway. That was the last story we were going to do, was one on the Super NT. So I'm just going to talk about some games that are coming out here in that next week between when we do the show. So pretty much like one of the big games that's already out, that came out this week. Legends of Heroes Cold Steel 4 is out there on Stadia, PC and Switch. Definitely should go pick that up if you're a fan of that series at all. And I want to highlight Lost Words Beyond the Page. It's a game I'm going to check out for sure. I'm going to go buy that. I definitely think that people should check it out. I've been watching video of this, and it looks fantastic. I know it's an indie game, not everybody is a big fan of it, but I mean, for just being creative and doing something different, it gets so many points from me, and I definitely think people should give it a try. Saw Phil Spencer was playing it too, so, I mean, that's something, right? Phil Spencer's taking the time to play that game. Poison Control does come out this week. It's the next NIS America game. It's an action RPG shooter with, the anime elements that they're known for there. Saga Frontier Remastered comes out this week as well. It got a big freaking trailer with like almost 8 minutes long. Yeah, I know if you're hyped for that,
You probably already got it in your little queue there that you're going to buy it, but if you haven't checked that out, didn't know it was coming, you know, get ready, because if their Super Meat Boy Forever comes out to the other console, Xbox One and PS4, of course, came out last year to Switch and PC, and we do have a review up on the site from Randy if you want to go see what his thoughts were on the game. And I mean, there's also Don't Forget About Me, which is another one of those that was at that Xbox Indie Showcase. It's a narrative game that looks really interesting. It's being by the developer of Moon Pirates, and it comes out this week as well. So if you like those investigative, like narrative games, definitely one to check out. So, I mean, that's kind of what's coming this week as far as sort of like more known games. But of course, you never know what'll stealth drop, like we saw Pac-Man 99 come out last week. So, you know, always keep those eyes peeled for releases. And again, just want to say appreciate everybody who listens. Thank you so much for taking your time out of your busy schedules, or just, you know, there's so many podcasts out there. If you take your time to listen to us, I appreciate that. And God, we really hope this sounds a lot better than last week. I'm very sorry again for that. But either way, for Mark and myself, I hope you enjoy your games. Keep playing them. And we'll be back next week with more show. Oh, wait, how could I forget? No, make sure you go and like and subscribe on whatever podcast service you use to listen to us on, and hit that, you know, go and do those reviews, man. It helps out so much, especially on the Apple Podcast. But if you listen on Spotify, you listen on Amazon Music, you listen on Google Podcasts, you listen on Podcast Addict, which is, you know, the podcast app I use. If you use listen to us on iHeartRadio or whatever, Stitcher, review on there. That helps to just give us those reviews and help us out. If you like what you hear, let us know. And I mean, if you want any more content with us, or want to hear us talk about certain topics, or anybody that you'd like to see as a guest on the show that you want to go, hey, Sean, try to reach out to this person. I am, again, you know, trying to reach out to people, but I mean, not everybody's always receptive to being on, you know, still an up and coming show like ours. So, you know, again, we appreciate all of you that listen, and thank you once again. Until next week, see you later, everybody.